What's good, y'all? Iron Mike Sharp, episode number 13 with the homie Monplacebo. We going out to Queens with it. You can hear that classic boom bap sound in the background. You know what I mean? We gonna get into it. I got the Yankees and the Gotham Batman. What's up, Prime Prolific? What's up, Noise Machine? Monplacebo, when you're ready to join, hit request to join. We gonna get into this joint. Episode number 13, break it down with Iron Mike Sharp. Again, y'all, if you got some homies that you want to get on that I might not know or I might not deal with, add them. I put all the episodes on my page. Shout them out. We'll build that bridge. Peace, Prime, peace, Prime, peace, Noise Machine. Let's get my homie up in the room. Yo, what up, what up?
Salute. Peace. What's good?
What's up, bro? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you, man?
Man, you sound crystal clear. That's dope. What's up?
Dope.
Direct, New York City, St. Paul, Minnesota. Let's get it.
Oh, okay.
So we'll get right into it, man. Tell everybody where you're from.
All right, so I'm originally from Brooklyn, born in Brooklyn, Queens bred. I was born in Brownsville, Brookdale Hospital, one of the worst hospitals in the world. Lived in East Flatbush, East 18 and Beverly Road from 87 to 89. Then I moved down, my peoples, we moved to Queens, Springfield Gardens in 89, like late 89. And then I've been living there up until 2002. Then I've been living down in Florida. In 2 days, it'll be 20 years living down here in Florida, in Palm Beach.
That's like me, man. I'm from Jersey, but I moved to Minnesota 20 years ago.
I was gonna ask you because I'm like, yo, I knew you was from the Northeast somewhere, but I wasn't sure. So
yeah, no doubt.
Okay,
it's like it never leaves you though, bro. But you said
exactly.
Brownsville. It's Brownsville, never ran, never will. Tell them, man.
You already know.
And then East Flatbush, I got another question. Are you like Trini or Jamaican? Being from over there?
Okay. Yeah, okay. So my mom, she's from Costa Rica, but her lineage is from the British Virgin Islands and Barbados. My father, so my father who transitioned, God rest his soul, he's from Haiti. He's from Port-au-Prince. Yeah, so
I was kind of around the same, I was in the Caribbean.
Yeah, no doubt.
When I think of East Flatbush, I think of West Indians, you know what I mean?
Oh no, for sure. That's Brooklyn, you might as well call it the Caribbean, part of the Caribbean, because like there's a shitload of Caribbean people from all walks of life. You know what I mean? So
how'd that influence your early music? I know, you probably listen to a wide array of music coming from that family and background, and also your family speak another language in the house.
So my mom, so my father he spoke Creole.
Mm-hmm.
But so with Haiti, you got the French Creole. Haiti, being a French independent, gaining independence from France, and in Jamaica they speak English Creole, which is patois. Yep. Patois means Creole in French.
Okay.
So you know what I mean. And then so in Costa Rica, where my mom's from, she's from the capital, but then she moved to Limon, which is like the Caribbean side of Costa Rica. So over that side, you got people that migrated from from Jamaica, like the West Indies, the Granite Antilles, and the Lesser Antilles to build the Panama Canal. And so the people that moved over there to build the Panama Canal, they kind of stationed there. They they made their family there. They transitioned there and things like that. They migrated there. They called it home. So that's why when you go over to Limon, which is like the province, one of the provinces like in the Atlantic side, you have a lot of people that they look like me and you, and they speak patois. It's crazy. So it's
that's
dope.
some history, y'all. Y'all got something you weren't expecting out of this podcast right now.
Oh, you already know.
Thank you for that, man.
Yeah.
Excuse me on that. So that's dope, man. You kind of gave away your age a little bit by dropping. You were moving around in the 80s. So how long you been at it?
I'm sorry?
How long you been at it making beats and whatnot?
Okay, so how I started making beats. All right, so pretty much like everybody else in the chat. Yo, peace of the chat first and foremost. Thank you for joining in, and thank you, brother, for giving me the opportunity to join your podcast. So and shout out to everybody else, man. But anyways, getting back to your question, how I got into music was just like everybody else, we all hip hop heads, but not just hip hop. I listened to different types of music. So, with my father, he was a music head, so he had a whole bunch of vinyl and things like that. And like when me and him, we would bond, like, just driving around New York City, like all the five boroughs, whether it be Manhattan, Queens, Brooklyn, Long Island, just driving around, just listening to like, top 40s at that time. So we're talking like early 90s, you know what I mean? Like 890, 91. So listening to like Phil Collins, The Police, like a lot of the new wave stuff, the pop stuff at the time, Madonna, Peter Gabriel, things like that, Huey Lewis and the News. So stuff like that, that kind of influenced me, as far as music, made me got into music. And my uncle, Orlando, my mom's brother, who also passed away back in '06, he was big into music. He got me to the reggae side of things. So he got me to dancehall and like UB40, Lucky Dube, the classics, Peter Tosh, and then of course like Shabba Ranks and Cuddy Ranks and all them cats. So yeah, so I got into that side of things. So and then me living in Queens, like you said, like is a big Caribbean Caribbean community out where I'm from. So I mean, how can you not be involved in that that kind of thing? Soca too, soca music from Trinidad and all that too. I love that shit too. Byron Lee and all that, the Dragonair, Sparrow, all that. So anyways, just driving around with him in the '90s, things like that, and I've always loved music, man, all types of music, hip hop, rock, all that stuff. Fast forward to '01 to '02, I met this cat named Alan Poe. Yeah, cool cat. He's from Long Island. He's from like Elmont. So the part of Queens I'm from Springfield Gardens.
Mm-hmm.
Springfield Gardens is like, so you got Southside Queens and you got Northside Queens. So although when you look up Springfield Gardens, it's gonna say the southeastern part of Jamaica, Queens. So where I'm at, I'm in Springfield Gardens. So I'm like in the middle. Then right next to you got Laurelton. Then you got Laurelton, Rosedale, and then right next to it, then you got we talked about Hollis.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about it in the DM like the other day where Ja Rule is from, Irv Gotti's from, Live Squad, yeah, Run DMC, of course, yeah, man. Whole bunch of other cats, man.
Yeah.
And so where Live Squad is from, the part that we were talking about, cause when I said Springfield Gardens,
yeah, I thought they were from there.
Huh?
I thought they were from Springfield Gardens because I've heard them shout that out a lot.
Right, yeah, because they got peoples out there and shit, because it's dumb close. It's like mad close. So you got Springfield Boulevard, which is like a strip pretty much, but where they're from, Hollis is close to Springfield Boulevard, and so from Springfield, from where they at in Hollis, I could get there in like 10, 15 minutes. You know what I mean? So it's dumb close, and then like and then you got Hollis, and then you got over there. Then you got Addison Park,
Mm-hmm.
which is a very famous neighborhood because a lot of jazz people, a lot of jazz musicians lived out there, like Count Basie, Miles Davis, Ella Fitzgerald, even James Brown, the late great James Brown lived out there. You know what I mean? So a lot of dope jazz musicians lived out there. Then you got St. Albans, where Tribe Called Quest is from,
Mm-hmm.
particularly Q-Tip and Fife. Yeah, and then like with jazz, I'm sorry.
Linden Boulevard.
Yeah. Yup. Yes, sir.
So yeah, the
So
lineage
all
of Queens, man. Brooklyn is its own monster.
Yeah.
Queens is its
Oh,
own
you're
monster. That's a long
sure.
lineage, man. It's dope to see somebody from Queens. Going into the next question, why do you still use the EPS?
Okay, so how I got into the EPS, right? So I got a little off topic with the geography, but it's all good. So
No,
my
people
man
love that,
Alan
man.
Poe,
A lot of people don't know that. You're schooling
Nah, no
people
doubt,
with
no
the
doubt.
Caribbean and the jazz, and I mean, and the
Oh,
neighborhoods. A lot of people are from the Midwest or West Coast have no idea. They've heard these neighborhoods, but they've never been there. You know what I mean? So you're painting the picture
right.
for.
Nah, I appreciate that. Um, yeah, man. So, like I was saying, so with Alan Poe, I met the dude. He lived on. So my boy Kevin, my best friend, who I've been friends with since like 90, 91. They lived like in a big house, but it's like a duplex. So Alan Poe, who I met, he lived the upstairs. My friend Kevin lived downstairs. So he was a producer. He's a producer. So and I heard he DJ and produce, and I've always wanted to make beats and things like that. I've always preferred like listening to beats. Like I love the MCs, but the background, the instrumentals, I was more interested in.
Mm-hmm.
So I found out he made beats. So I was kind of like with I know the story with with Kanye and No ID, where Kanye was like mad annoying to No ID, just pestering him up until like, all right, all right, come with me, come with me. I was the Kanye to that No ID, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And so went upstairs, chilled with him, and then he had a bunch of records. He had the cassettes, the that machine and all that
Oh,
stuff.
damn. All right.
Yeah, yeah. So like I said, we're talking early 2000s. You know what I mean? 01 or 02.
Yeah.
And then so he had something called that 2000 XL. Never seen anything like that in my life. So he had that, and he made a beat right in front of me. So what he did, this dude, like, he sampled. You remember the Victoria's Secret magazines that used to come in the mail? It would come like the CD samplers, like with instrumental music.
Yep.
So what he did, he sampled one song, like one of the songs from the CD. He put his drums to it. Yo, I was amazed. I was, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. And then so like this is like 01, 02. So 02, I moved out of Florida, out of New York to Florida. Of course, me being from New York, homesick. I'm like, what the hell is this? Like this slow ass place, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started meeting transplants, and that made me feel better. But then I downloaded Fruity Loops 4.1, like 4.0, 4.1. So this is like 02, 03. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. At that time, I was big into like Lord Finesse, Eric Sermon,
Mm-hmm.
all that stuff. So at the time, I didn't know that was sampling. So I thought that was stuff that they did themselves. So I tried to make it like imitating that. It was like, it was nowhere near any of that. So, you know what? And then like, and at the time, like around like 03, I'm in high school. 02, I'm in high school. 03, not really digging the music that's going on at the time. Like I hated the climate, like 03, 04. Although I did like G Unit, Dipset, LOX, and all that stuff, but like the commercial side of things, I was not feeling that. So my homegirl, Crystal Alonso, I gotta give a shout out to her because she pretty much gave me the battery on my back. She was like, yo, if like I hear you, but you keep complaining about the state of music, so why don't you put out your own music? Like, why don't you make a record label? And go, it's not easy. But then I put two to two together. Fast forward to 2008. I was like, you know what? I want to make beats, and I was doing a lot of research. And then Havoc is one of my all-time favorite producers. RZA, True Master, White Kim, and all them cats.
Mm-hmm.
So I found out they were using the Sonic EPS 16 Plus. I was going to GearSluts.com, seeing people. They were using this at this time. I was, oh shit! And then the music that they made with the EPS, I love so much.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to get it. And then so I went to Guitar Center, which is about like 10, 15 minutes away from where I live now, or 10 minutes, if that, 5 to 10 minutes, if anything. And then I met this cat named Doc. I was telling him about it. And then at the time, the hottest thing out at that time was the Kai MPC 2500.
Mm-hmm.
It was the 1000, the 2500, and then Rolling came out the MV 8800.
Mm-hmm.
The one where they put, you have the CDs, the DVD slot where you can sample CDs.
Yeah. RZA pimped it.
Yes.
Everybody wanted because RZA was co-signing it.
Right, exactly. And then so I had a list. He wrote me a list of like stuff to get and things like that. I was like, you know what? Nah, I really want that Sonic EPS 16 Plus. And Doc was telling me, yo, you have to use a lot of records. I'm like, I don't care. That's what I want. And he himself had 2 XLs and he had 1 ASR 10. And then fast forward to October of 2008. I saw an ad on Craigslist for the EPS that I have right now. you see him back of me. Show the people. Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Yes, sir. And I got the
one
shirt.
myself. I could use. Oh, and you got the shirt. Did you get it from Dooley?
No. I got. So let me show you. I got the hat from Dooley.
Yeah, I got my ASRX hat from him. That's what's up.
Yeah. The shirt I got from this cat from Italy named Furio.
Okay.
Furio, like Furio from Sopranos, like that same. Well, not the same guy, but same name. But anyways, so this cat, the guy I bought it from, he had it on Craigslist. He put it in October 2008. Nobody bought it, so he put it down to 300. And then so I hit him up. I hit him up. Hey, I'm interested into the sampler, that kind of thing. And then I told my mom, like, I had $100. Like, Mom, like, if you help me get this keyboard, I'll be the happiest man in the world. I promise you. That kind of like, yeah, cool. So the guy hit me up. He was like, yo, you see your name Steve? I'm like, yeah. You want the Sonic EPS 16 Plus? I'm like, yeah. Do you know what it is? I'm like, yeah, it's a sampler. Because I guess he thought, because I'm being young, like he would think that it was just like a regular keyboard. Because if I said just a keyboard, he probably wouldn't sell it to me, or he was just trying to sell it to me for like mad bread. But I know what time it was. You know what time it was with me. So fast forward to January 17th, 2009 is the day I bought it. Went to his crib, went to Boca Raton. Boca Raton. Like it was like probably like 40 minutes away from me. Went over there, and then he saw it. I was enamored. Got it. I gave him $300. It came with 2 external hard drives. It's like big black boxes, and the thing was like he used it for the SCSI so instead of using the floppies to use the the boot disk. So for my people that's watching this, for old legacy samplers like the SP1200, the 16 plus, the ASR 10, and the old MPCs. You have what's called a boot disk. So think of it as your keys to the car. Plain and simple. That's the best way I could. Because without the key, exactly. Without the key, you can't start the car. Same concept with the boot disk. But in this instance, like I said, he had the external hard drive where like it's mad big. First of all, I got rid of it. I don't have it no more. I would have pushed the button. I would have to time it for 20 seconds, turn it on, so that way I don't have to use the floppy drive. But that shit was mad annoying. I got tired of it. I just started using the floppy drive and called it a day. And then that's how I got the Sonic EPS 16 Plus. And then I'm sorry, go ahead.
What was the date again?
January 17th, 2009.
Is that a date of any significance, or you just remember?
Oh, that's the day I remembered, man.
And it's like your birthday or something. That would have been funny, but.
And ironically, you said that because my birthday is the 27th of January.
Okay, so that's why you remember it probably like that.
Yeah. And I'm good with dates too, so I'm good with stuff like that.
That's crazy. If I remember every time I bought a beat machine. So.
I'm sorry. Say it again. You cut off.
My bad. It's been 13 years since you had that.
That's crazy, yeah. It's crazy when you think about it.
No doubt. So we went through the lineage of, Brooklyn, Queens, EPS, your background. You ready to break this joint down?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's get into
it. All right, so just made a beat just for the show. All right, so I call this joint Smoke. You know what I mean? Just the sound of it. Just the sample that I use. So I sample from Miles Davis. So what I do, usually, depending on the beat, I usually do like an intro. So this is the intro. All right. And then you got the first sequence. The one cool thing about the EPS, and even the ASR 10, I'm not sure if it has with the ASRX. When you chop samples, it has like a feature where you can either save the memory or you don't have to use the memory. So you don't have to use the memory when you chop samples. Because I think with the MPCs, from what I heard, that when you chop samples, you actually use the memory. With the 16 plus or the Ensoniq samplers, you don't have to. You get the choice not to use memory. So that's pretty cool. So I think that's pretty. I think that's a dope feature that it has. So anyway, so I had the first sequence. So I chopped it up. All right, and then I got the second sequence. All right, so let's play the beat. Sorry for the intro. You get the gist of it.
Yeah. It's got a bass or a sample with a bouncy bass line.
Yeah.
Are those sequences 1-bar loops? Noise Machine's asking.
All right. So typically the cool thing about the Sonic samplers is that you can make a 1-bar loop, but then there's a feature called Append Sequence. So what that means is that you multiply it by 2. So I can make a 1-bar loop, and then I can you multiply it by 2, then I got 2 bars. You multiply that by 2, 4 times 2, 8 times 2, 16, then 32, 64, that kind of thing. So yeah, so you can do that. And it's pretty cool too because like, you know, if you want to like, especially like if you're the type of person that, you know, wants to like keep the like a drum pattern like a certain way, you can like, you know, multiply that. And if you want to change the kicks or whatever, you could do that too, but keep the snare the same, that kind of thing too. And if you guys notice, like I keep my instruments into one bank at a time. Like, I have the sample one time on one bank, then I have the hi-hat on another bank, kick on the snares, you know, all separate. You know what I mean? So yeah.
No doubt. Can you screen? He asked another question.
Yes, you can. Yeah.
Noise Machine's going to be out there looking for yes.
Yeah, you could do that. But the only let me give you guys a history about the Ensoniq EPS 16 Plus.
All right.
So the Ensoniq, all right, so the EPS 16 Plus originally came out in October of 1990. The plans with the EPS 16 Plus is what the ASR 10 has. HD floppies, stereo sampling, you know, things of that nature. But, you know, Ensoniq at the time, they were kind of like, I don't want to say they were up and coming because they've been around since like the early 80s. But the EMU, SP1200, the MPCs, the Akai, those were the go-tos because like Ensoniq, they weren't really known for hip hop. You know, they were known for like dance music. I mean, as well as the other samplers that we talked about. But they were looked down upon because Ensoniq doesn't really have the best sequencers in the world. But it's like what you put in is what you put out. It makes you step your game up. So it's not like with the MPCs, like which and the SP1200s, which are drum machines with sampling features. Then Sonics, like the ASR 10, the EPS 16 Plus, are full-fledged samplers. Same thing with the 4000 and the 5000. It's just like it's a different animal, man. And the cool thing about the ASR 10 is that you could play a beat, but you could still sample. You could still sample while you're playing a beat. When you're looking for a sample, you could put a sample in while you're playing the beat. 60 Plus, you can't do that. You know what I mean? And the 60 Plus, it's limited, but it's more versatile if that makes sense. Like, so for example, with the 16 plus, you have 7 different sample rates. So you have from 44.1 kilohertz, was like CD quality, up until 11.2 kilohertz. So the higher the sample rate, the cleaner your sound is. The lower the sample rate, the more gritty your sound is, more distorted. Like it's kind of like certain sounds are left out. It's like not really the best, but that's how you get that grit, and that's what we love. People in hip hop, we love that. We want that grit. A lot of people in lo-fi, they try to get that sound and things like that. But yeah, and with the ASR 10, they took away that feature, but you could convert the sample rate. You know what I mean? So with the ASR 10, it has like a more cleaner sound. So like I told you before, the 16 plus has 7 different sample rates. The ASR 10 only has 2. It has 30.2 kilohertz and 22.3 kilohertz. So it's not really much, off the gate. But the one thing I do like about the ASR 10 is the 50 different type of filters, whole bunch of different effects. The 16 plus only has 13. That's but you make it work. You know what I mean? And they have like different discs that you can get like different effects and things like that. Yeah, like the Griselda sound. You know what I mean? You get that. I can make it sound like an SP 1200 if I wanted to. You know what I mean? I wouldn't even need the SP.
So during your,
and then you go.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No. Go ahead.
During your process, I ask this to everybody. You lace your drums first. You find your sample, put it in how you want to play your drums to it. What's your process? Like, what's the first thing you want to do? Second thing, third thing, etc.
Right. I'm glad you asked that. So when I first started making beats, I started with the sample first, then the drums. Then later on, I tried, with the drums first and then the sample. I noticed I made better beats with the sample first than the drums. Reason being is because you want to make sure, like, the sample you use, you want the drums to fit that sample. Because a lot of people, I've noticed, like, I've heard people, they'll have dope samples, but the drums don't fit. So it's like the texture of the sample and the drums gotta meet. It's like the same thing. It's like you gotta fit like a glove. So I'm very particular about that. You know what I mean? So to answer your question, I usually start with the sample first, then the drums. Sometimes it'll take me, and I know with you, I'm pretty sure with you too. Like you find a dope sample, but it'll take you like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours to find a dope drum to fit that sample. You know what I mean? And even with the drum pattern, it goes down to the drum pattern too. So, but to answer your question, the sample first, then the drums.
So are you using drum loops? Are you hitting all your drums, or a mixture?
No, I'm hitting all my drums.
Oh, you hit all your drums? Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah. So like I said before, like I have the hi-hat in one bank, kicking on another bank, the snare in another bank, and then the sample, the bass line, and all that. And I do like my own little patterns, you know what I mean? Like humanize. And I do quantize from time to time. Like I do quantize my my hi-hats, definitely. I definitely want to make sure that's
they'll go flying.
That's
all over the place.
Yeah. Because like I said, in Sonics, they don't really have the best best sequencer, but it's like what you put in is what you put out. You know that you having an ASRX, so it actually makes you step your game up. Whereas the SP1200 and the MPCs, those are drum machines, but with sampling features, if that makes sense.
No, it does, absolutely. And I always tell them language. The ASR, that language. The MPC, that language, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
Speak to the ASR a little bit. My PC and my EPS, not so much yet.
Right.
So, it's all a matter of all that. So, it's been very insightful and everything. You've been giving me a lot of knowledge, a lot of things. You got anything you want to plug?
Yeah. First of all, shout out to you for having this platform, for letting, dope producers after me and, before me, after me, come up, sharing their voice, so I appreciate you for that.
No.
Peace to the chat, man, for for joining us, for hearing my story.
Yes. if you want to interact with them. I always forget that. I'm bad, y'all.
Nah, you good, yo. Peace, yeah. Producer, yo, he's another dope producer. Producer Big Stacks.
Oh yeah,
Dope.
we've been talking.
Yeah, yeah. ASR tenant guy right there, man. That dude's an OG right there. That dude, ooh, Jersey. Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Big Stacks?
Word. I want to give a big shout out, to my mom, my dad, rest in peace. That got me into music. My uncle Orlando. My all my peoples in my block, Queens. My family in New York, Costa Rica. Big shout out to I actually part of a podcast too called Speaking Cloud Podcast with Mike Sears, Cole Chillin, aka Ricardo from Bakersfield, California. My guy Ross, we call him Sir Ross because he's from Northern Ireland. I call him Sir Ross, you know what I mean? But our knowledge for hip hop is just it's dope. So if you guys can type in Speaking Cloud Podcast on YouTube. Subscribe, click the bell button so when we go live, you know what I mean? Like you catch it live right there. And we don't just talk hip hop. We talk, we shoot the shit just like we talking right now. We shoot the shit like the fellas, we do like, wrestling, rock, metal, movies, we do it all. So, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, so shout out to Mike Sears. Yeah, my brother, that's my brethren, man. And the crazy thing is we never met each other in real life. That's the goal. I want to meet them cats in real life one day, man. It'll happen.
No,
it'll happen.
Got to get a time.
You know what I'm saying? For sure. Yes, sir. Also, I want to give a big shout out to all the dope podcasts out there, man. If you guys want to follow me, you can follow me on my Instagram, JQNY. Yeah, JQNY 184. It used to be QNZ 184, but my shit got hacked a couple weeks ago. So I just had to make a new page. People was like, "Oh, you can get it back." Like, nah, let me start anew, start clean, fresh, clean slate, and it is a blessing in disguise, and I love it. You go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/immobility1. All that information is on my YouTube, on my IG. I do hip hop album reviews. I do rants. People love my rants. I do thing called Random Things That Irk Me. I mean, the title speaks for itself, so I do that. But I'm mostly known for album reviews. In fact, I'm going to be reviewing House of Pain's first album, second album, third album, which I feel like is very underrated.
That one was me and Joe Frazier, we bought a couple of the 12 inches, the ones with Not X and threw on them. Were fire.
Oh, yeah. Love that.
He was trying to put out like them reggae dudes on that album. I don't know what happened to them dudes, but I remember when it came out.
Yeah. I love that album.
Fed Up was it. It was Fed Up was the single.
Yeah, Fed Up. Yeah, Fed Up, and then you had Heart Full of Sorrows with Sadat X.
Yep, that was the flip side.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
No doubt. So
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What made you get into the ASRX? And then how's the sequencers? Because I've heard mixed feelings about that. I heard like the black box, and you have the ASRX Pro with the red joint. So what's your thoughts on that? Have you messed with the ASRX?
The ASRX right there, Joe Frazier's in the chat. He's been using it like 20-some years. He's like a wizard. He always made the beats when we were doing music. And I was more like just in the MC, and so I started rhyming around 2011 and just stayed away for about 8-9 years. I picked up this app called the IMPC Pro. Started making beats on it. Oh, okay at this shit. So my boy Carl Infinite had this beat machine. I got it from him. I started freaking it. I was like, damn, I should have been making beats the whole time. So to answer your question, long-winded, it's kind of always been around it, but I never really paid any attention to it. But when I finally started paying attention to it, I started making some okay beats. As far as the sequence goes, I mean, it's really the only beat machine I know good. So I say this is better than the MPC. I like it better. I like how you're able to jump from track to track to track, and how, each 13 pad you can manipulate in your own way. You can raise the volume on it. You can chop each pad. I mean, I just like it better.
No doubt.
If you can find one, man, get it. If you're EPS, you will kill the ASR.
I can imagine. I actually want an SP 1200. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I want an SP, but that money, they want to kill prices for them shits, man. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's like a down payment on a house, bro.
No facts.
They want like 20 grand. Fuck that.
Yeah, yeah. I get the reissue with anything. You know what I mean? It's like 4 stacks, but you know.
Oh, the S20.
No. They re-released it. The SP 1200. It's called the Rossum 1200.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah,
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
That's a lot of money. I mean,
it is.
If you got the money,
wishful thinking.
You know.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't. But you know, at some point we'll see. Oh, I want to give a big shout out to the Guillotine regime. A-Preem. I think you follow. Don't you follow him, right?
I think so.
Yeah. So shout out to my brother, the General. Peace, Lord. You know what I'm saying? So with him, he also uses the ASRX. He has an SP12 Turbo, and then he has the EPS, then the OG EPS.
Yes.
And our sound is pretty much somewhat similar, man. Like we got like that. You know, people like to compare me to like a Wu affiliate producer, and just you know, Havoc and how I make my beats and things like that. And I've been following A-Preem since 2015, but he went under the name GM Sunseed. And then he kept hitting me up for like, yo, let's work together. I'm like, all right, you know, we'll work together. And then eventually we ended up working with each other. And I gave him a beat called King Cobra, which he ended up making it called Hemlock. And the funny story with that particular beat, it was a Peter Nero sample. It's the same sample that Wu-Tang used for A Better Tomorrow off the Wu-Tang Forever album. It's the same sample. And I flipped that sample. He liked it. I gave it to him, and you know, he made a whole song out of it, man. And then we've been working since. And then the Guillotine regime, you know, that's how I got into like you know, Guillotine. He's out of Fresno, California.
Right.
And then the cat that we used to rock with Tone Russia. We don't rock with him no more. I have no issues with him, but you know, that's between Guillotine and him. But you know, peace to that brother. And then my brother Octane that lives in Pensacola, which is like North Florida. It's like close to Alabama and shit.
Yep.
So, you know, I've been working with them. I've been working with them a lot. And like the stuff that I do, like, you know, they be like beat hogs. Yo, let me get that. Yo, you want that? Yo, who got that? And I love that. That shit makes me want to work harder. You know what I mean? So I love that. Because I worked with artists in the past, and it's like, I don't hear from them for like months or years. So I get discouraged. It's kind of like, that's that sucker shit. But with them, they be like, yo, let me get that. And then they'll work on it, you know, and they're producers themselves. That's the dope part too. So, you know what I mean? They might put project after project. It might not be on the project they put out next, but I know for sure it's gonna be on one of their projects in the future. So it's gonna be dope, man. So yeah. So shout out to the regime and Octane.
No doubt. Stay working, man. Why don't we bang out that beat for a minute and we'll sign out?
Yes, sir. Peace to the chat. Thanks for joining in, man. Bro.
So, like, Monplacebo,
Sir.